So, the first vid I'm doing tonight, well, I have to thank one of my fellow Facebook buddies and friend for the heads up on this, which, well, goes to an individual or a YouTube channel called LSB Film Productions. I have no idea. I've not watched any other of his or their vids, whatever. But I was watching this and I thought, well, there's not a lot that you can disagree with from an individual called Lord Forsyth. Now, it's about conversion therapy. And let's be honest, and I've warned this for quite a while, and I'm not my own here, others have certainly done the same. When you're now in a situation that primary school supposed teachers are constantly, repetitiously saying to, well, children from the age of 4 and above, that they may feel like being in the opposite gender or another gender or whatever else, and that they don't have to tell their parents. And I think I covered it recently in a vid where they're saying mandatory there has to be at least 2 in a class, and you know, this obviously yet again through Stonewall and these various policies being rolled out through the education system, more so in Scotland, but arguably rolling out right across the UK, where if they're being exposed to this constantly and being told, you know, especially when their classrooms are now being covered, the walls are being covered in LGBT propaganda. Seriously, think about this. And over time, through that repetition, how many young innocent children, the very most innocent of us, at an age where you're just trying to find about life around you, you know, quite literally every day is by and large a new experience at that age. Let's be honest, 4-year-old, think about that and onwards, yeah. And you've got this on the go from primary school age onwards, and remember, through every class, yeah. At some stage, quite a percentage, I would argue, are going to cave to this. And you, as a parent, are they apparently, legally, although I question the whole lot of that, have no obligation to tell the parent. And so it becomes this thing of a little secret and all the rest of it. I mean, it's wrong on so many levels. But even if the parents get to find out that we Johnnies now want to wear a dress and you're a bigot and a homophobe and a this and a that as a parent for you not going along with this, yeah? And then on top of that, the potentiality of taking hormones, taking various chemicals to, you know, based on an ideology. And, you know, when they talk about conversion therapy, imagine even as a parent sitting your child down and saying, listen, have you thought this through? Because blah, 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 the following. And here's this and that. And you could go to prison in Scotland for up to 7 years. Think about this. Anyway, with that in mind, and under fair use.
Follow the noble Baroness, whom I've got very considerable respect for. But I have to say, in nearly 40 years in Parliament, I have never seen a more badly drafted or dangerous piece of legislation. It consists of 2 clauses. The noble Baroness said the key issue is where you draw the line. And she's absolutely right about that. It's where you draw the line. And unfortunately, this bill does not draw the line. I mean, I refer the House to Clause 1, Section 2. It says, conversion therapy is any practice. What does any practice mean? How is that defined? Does any in practice include a parent not supporting a children's decision to dress as a member of the opposite sex? The noble Baroness shakes her head. But where does it say that in the bill? In her speech, she said there were all kinds of understandings and provisions, but it is not there on the face of the bill. And she is asking us to support this bill. Any practice aimed at a person or group, so that includes children. So parents saying to their children, you must not take puberty blockers. they would find themselves on the wrong side of the law. This is an extraordinary suggestion. Or trying to prevent surgery or medical interventions, which would be irreversible. Is that any practice? I mean, if I read the language of the bill, it says, any practice aimed at a person, i.e. children, or a group of people, which demonstrates an assumption. Demonstrates an assumption. Are we now going to criminalise people for thinking things? Because that's what demonstrates an assumption means, that any sexual orientation or gender identity is inherently preferable to another and which was intended for the purpose of attempting to change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. And what exactly is gender identity? That is not included in the bill. I notice that the Scottish Government currently has a consultation document out in which they attempt to define gender identity, and it is an individual's personal sense of being or belonging to a particular gender or genders, or of not having a gender. That is a definition. And we are expected to criminalise people on the basis of something which is so fluid and which is not defined in this bill. I mean, I have to say to the noble Baroness, when she said that this is not about attacking free speech, of course it's an attack on free speech if parents can't feel they can give guidance to their children. And it's an absolute basic duty of parents to give guidance to their children and to prevent them from suffering any harm. It criminalises advice given in good faith. Now, I notice that the bill also applies to Scotland. Now, the Scottish Government have got a consultation document out at the moment. The penalty for telling your child not to take puberty blockers or whatever is a fine at level not exceeding level 5. That is an unlimited fine. I suppose we should be grateful for that, because in Scotland they're proposing 7 years in prison. The world has gone mad.
Think about that. Seriously. The enormity of that. And I was reading somewhere recently that potentially, say for example, if the child has so been alienated through this ideology that they want to separate themselves completely from the parents, they can change their names, and the parents cannot even find out, you know, what happens to them in future, or where they go in future. That will not be open to them. The enormity of this. We are dealing with occultism. We are dealing with, well, Luciferianism. We're dealing with theosophy. Yeah. It goes under many names, but when it comes to the United Nations, it's theosophy, but it does go under many names.
It seems to me that we normally in this House introduce legislation in order to fix a problem, not create new ones. And this undermines the family, attacks free speech, freedom of thought, and even religious belief.
But that's it. That's what it's all about. It's to destroy the family. Everything that has kept us so successful as a species for thousands of years. Absolutely destroy the family, destroy all kinds of family relationships. In the very near future, they plan for people who can no longer find a job in one area, that they will have to go under this social credit score system and as a global citizen somewhere else. And if they say, but this will split up my family, well, we've all got to do our bit. Climate change, whatever else. And you can always keep in touch through video calls. And you could be in another country, quite literally. There's no mistake about all those ghost cities in China. And while they've made efforts in the last year or so to say, but many of them are in such disrepair, be assured, they weren't built for no reason. And all the lies about, it was just for a Ponzi scheme or whatever. No, they think ahead. Few people see where this is going, like.
Is a dangerous, crude piece of legislation in a hugely complex and controversial area which is not suited to private legislation. It is all the characteristics of something written on the back of a beer mat after an unruly discussion in a pub. I very much...
And he's being nice there, I would argue. And you could say obfuscation, but...
oppose it. And if we were able... I know we have a convention in this House that we don't vote against second readings, but if we were to have a divide on it, I would certainly kill it now, for it is a dangerous thing which brings great discredit, I believe, on this House and Parliament as a whole.
We're being attacked at every single level. This uncontrolled immigration, all the rest of it, the destruction ongoing of the family unit, all that, and so much more. The illusion of any kind of rights and the fact that they're working for you. They're not working for you. You look at what's happening across in Ireland. Seriously, I'll leave you a couple of links. One, Ireland on the brink of a revolution, ? An individual called Derek Domino. I'll leave you another one, Councillor Snell speaking from the protest at Newtown. It's very interesting. I could leave you other links, but yeah, that's enough for you to be getting on with. Seriously. Anyway, I hope this vid has been of some value to you. I appreciate thumbs up, shares, certainly subscribers, because hey, I'm really struggling here. And yeah, if you like what I do, support the channel. And I'll speak to you soon.